Welcome back to Debate Amongst Friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is Doc Leesner, the podcasting beast, alongside the man, the myth, the legend. People know him around the world as the Professor John Gotti, the king of RNG, the troll master, the data analyzing ninja, the conqueror, and the newly appointed cleaner.
The best podcasting machine, folks. Yes, I am here.
That's a great intro. That was really good. Like really good. Like, oh man, like that alone should be freaking viral.
I am enabling and embracing Doc's peculiarity for coming up with nicknames. Doc, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I think the word embrace is actually perfect to start this show, as it looks like the Pelicans have gone and embraced the Zion train and decided to part ways with Stan Van Gundy, which personally I felt he was never a good choice. So I'm glad they did not embrace the Stan Van Gundy way.
Unfortunately, he would have turned into Mike Brown when he was in Cleveland. Oh, I went there.
Ooh, he went there. Oh, he went there. I never thought he was a good choice. Maybe there's somebody else that they really, really wanted. Maybe there's a choice that is on the market now that they do want. I just know that Stan Van Gundy is not it.
Not at all.
I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm kind of glad.
They were thinking, hey, we have a veteran coach. We have a superstar stud. This could turn into Cleveland 2.0.
Honestly, a lot of teams are currently interested in Mike D'Antoni. Maybe the Pelicans are as well. I could see Zion running up and down the court, doing alley-oops and all this other stuff. So it's possible. Or they might want to bring in Terry Stotts. But anyway, I mean, they're looking to move on from Stan Van Gundy, which I'm actually pretty happy about.
I mean, I'm happy about it, but at the same time, like, come on. Is it really a sigh of relief, or is it really
No,
I'm
definitely
more of the latter of the matter, but I mean, we'll see what happens with the Pelicans. And of course, once we get news about any coaching hire rumors within the carousel, we will definitely let you know. But Doc, the All-NBA teams were announced last night. And it created controversy. Of course, the LeBron Maniacs were upset because he wasn't first team. But I will go through all the teams. I'll start with first and end with third. We'll get Doc's comment, and then I have a question for him to answer after the fact.
Ask me the question first.
Well, it's after the thing. It has to be after it. So, NBA first team, we start off with your reigning, defending, undisputed 2020-2021 National Basketball Association Most Valuable Player Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, and Kawhi Leonard. All-NBA second team, we have Chris Paul, Damian Lillard, Joel Embiid, Julius Randle, and LeBron James. And wrapping out the third team, we have Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Rudy Gobert, Jimmy Butler, and Paul George. Doc, how do you feel about this list?
I'm going to be honest with you. Here's this NBA teams list, right? 2020, 2021, all NBA teams list. Come here, all NBA teams list. I don't give about this teams list.
And I'm glad
it means nothing.
And I'm glad
it means nothing to me.
I mean, and of course, this isn't a honor that's been bestowed by the various news outlets. So various journalists vote for this.
Sure.
Giannis is the only unanimous first teamer. So he had 100 votes, first place 100 votes, and no other votes after that. So he was unanimous. But Doc, the question I had to ask, and we talked about this, youth is coming. We have a lot of these great young superstars making things like, putting their print out there in the NBA. But Doc, these 4 players were snubbed from any All-NBA teams, and I want to ask why. And if you agree that they should be, which team would you put them on and who would you take out? The 4 players I'm talking about: Doc Leesner, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Trae Young, and Jason Tatum. The floor is yours, Doc.
I think if I was going to do anything, number one, I wouldn't do anything with Trae Young. He would be exactly where he is. Devin Booker should be on this list. And it's not even a matter of taking anybody off. It's just about adding him on. And if I had to add him, I probably would add him.
It has to be 15 altogether.
If I had to take anyone off,
we're bringing Doc into GMO, folks. So bear with us.
Okay. If I had to take someone off, I probably would remove Paul George.
Okay.
I actually would bring LeBron James down to 3rd.
I agree.
And I probably would put Devin Booker in second team with Chris Paul.
Well,
who were the other 2?
Unfortunately, you said who would go in second team? Donovan Mitchell?
Devin Booker.
Oh, Devin Booker. You would have to take a guard off of there.
Well, he can play guard or forward.
They have him as
he
guard.
Guard. He could
guard.
He could be guard or forward.
They put him as guard.
I could put him in as forward. I'm putting him in as forward.
Okay, then yes. So I was like, I'm telling you what they voted him as.
Yeah, because I look here. Jimmy Butler and Paul George easily either one could be a guard. It doesn't matter. We're playing a positionless basketball, so
we are, and I'm glad that you said that too.
Because if you look at the first team, there's only there's one center, and then it's just who's the other guards, right? Luka's guard, right? Guard. He's really a forward.
But he's really a forward. Exactly.
So yeah, I'm putting Devin Booker in second with Chris Paul. I'll probably take Paul George out. As far as Donovan Mitchell, I'm probably not putting him in because of the injuries. What? I don't think he didn't play. I'm not giving it to him because of what he's doing now. He missed half the season, and that's probably why I would take LeBron out and put him at 3rd at best. But then you mentioned Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
And with Jason Tatum, that could potentially remove LeBron as a whole and put Jason Tatum in 3rd. So that's just my opinion. I probably would move LeBron out.
And I just want folks to know this too. Donovan Mitchell actually played more games than LeBron James this season.
I believe it. So I probably wouldn't put either one of them in. Personally, I might even be inclined to remove Kyrie also, because he didn't play in a lot of games, just like Kevin Durant's not on here.
Kevin Durant is not on
there. Yeah, so I would be inclined to remove several people and put those young guns on there. Not Trae Young, but because I don't,
So 75 of the list that I gave Doc would be on the list.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Trae Young in there. Devin Booker definitely played some really, really great basketball.
That's disrespectful.
It is.
And of course, there was also an article that came out talking about how Donovan Mitchell and I believe Jason Tatum lost out on $33 million in incentives.
For not being on it?
Yep.
That's That's tough stuff right there.
Let's talk about the whole max, supermax crap.
I think I did see.
Try to get players to stay on the teams that drafted them, but doing stuff like this and like putting these type of criteria, nah.
So since we just talked about it, I don't want to go too far away from this because I like the fact that this popped up here. And I hate this. I really hate this. I love the second part. Hate the first part. Head coaching candidates for the Pelicans, since we just talked about it. Yep. The first candidate is Jason Kidd, which I hate.
You really don't like that?
But I do like the idea of Teresa Weatherspoon being expected to become a candidate, because I know that Becky Hammond was a candidate.
That's what I was going to say. That was the thing I was going to say there.
I like that. I think it's time
do you think Teresa Weatherspoon should get hired before Becky Hammond?
No.
I'm glad you agree there. I'm glad that if you would have said yes, I would have had an argument with you, but I'm glad that you said no.
And as we sit here, Scott Brooks has been fired also.
Which we knew.
And that's a Woj bomb.
Yep. Because you know what Doc and Prof does. We always
wait for Woj.
Thank you.
So I mean, I do think Becky Hammond is good. She's obviously in the Popovich tree, and I think that's the only thing that would give her slight edge over Witherspoon. But Witherspoon definitely has also that pedigree, and I'm not sure.
It's going to be interesting coaching off season.
Without question. So we shall see exactly what happens. I'm not saying that she doesn't have, the
wherewithal to do so.
Right. And it just so happens that she is currently an assistant coach for the Pelicans. So they would just kind of move her up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure. It would be actually pretty sweet if Teresa Witherspoon did get the head coaching job and then she continued to bring other women up. I would like to see more women. As you know, I'm a big component of that. Me, as a coach in flag football, I'm trying to bring women up to coach. So I get it wholeheartedly. I think there should be more women coaches. Shout out to freaking Bruce Arians, who's also bringing women up to coach because that's what they listen.
Yeah, shout out to Bruce Arians, the head coach of the reigning, defending, undisputed Football League Super Bowl champions of the world, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
There you go. But let's get back to the series here. We got Philadelphia. We got Atlanta. Game 4. Oh, Philadelphia. What tangled webs you weave, letting young Trae Young drop 18 dimes on you. You bums. Not bums. I can't say bums, but what the heck?
They had an abysmal second half. How abysmal, Doc? I'm glad you asked. They only scored 38 points in the second half. Guess how many points the Hawks scored in the second half? 54 is the answer.
54 is the answer.
Joel Embiid went 0 for 12 in the second half.
Yeah, this actually had a funny picture of somebody put a funny picture saying Joel Embiid in the second half, and it was a picture of Andrew Bynum.
That's just no. I can't laugh at that. I can't laugh at that.
Now I will say this: the guy had 17 points and 21 rebounds, so he definitely was impacting the game. Although he shot an abysmal 20%, 4 for 20 from the game, 1 for 4 from the free throw line. 1 for 4 from 3, and 8 for 8 from the free throw line. I mean,
that's not no. Like the stats look good. But
no. They look no. They look horrible.
The second half stat is what really looks bad. You And you let me
4
tell
from
you
20 is
why.
bad.
You let me tell you why people use the picture of Andrew Bynum to describe him, because Joel Embiid was nothing more than setting pick, rebound, outlet. That's all he was used to. And Shaq mentioned after the game, like, he expected more from him.
Maybe he had too much.
As far as being we literally keep talking about, like, well, you're an MVP candidate, you got to play that way. We said that about, Jokic, and he did what he needed to do. He just didn't have the support.
Listen,
which is why he not only got ejected, but his brothers try to jump on the floor and start fighting people, which is cool.
Right. So, I mean, it looks like Bogdanovich showed up for the Hawks. Yeah. John Collins put in 14 and 12. Capella, 12 and 13. Better than that 8 and 6 and 7 that he's been putting up. So it looks like they actually came to play. It looks also as though they went with my initial suggestion, bumping either Kevin Huerter and Lou Williams, bumping those minutes up, getting Solomon Hill out of there. So they had more shooters on the floor. Now, granted, Kevin didn't hit great numbers, but I think the threat of him being there really, really helped open the floor for those inside players and for Trae Young to actually distribute distribute the basketball, 25 points, 18 assists. But yeah, I mean, the Hawks have tied the series, and are pushing the number 1 seeded team to a game 5 at this point, and hopefully they wake up. Or not, it's feeding time.
I mean, speaking of feeding time, let's talk about the next game, the Utah Jazz falling to the LA Clippers. This was the game I said I had the reads. Do you think the Clippers can tie it up? Like,
yeah, they could. I mean, they could. They got a puncher's chance, right? But no, when I look at it, exactly. When I look at it, obviously Paul George and Kawhi both stepped up. Marcus Morris had the best game probably of his whole playoffs.
Of his whole life. Like, are you kidding me? He went 5 for 5 from 3 in the first half.
So, yeah.
He is never getting that kind of stat ever again.
But they're gonna need it though, because we just got word that Kawhi indefinitely is missing Game 5. And that is today at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TNT. Going to Utah, hopefully to win a game. I mean, in reality, they're going to need more. They're going to need more from Batum, as we've been saying forever. They're going to need Reggie Jackson to give them more than 4 points.
If they need Nicholas Batum to really contribute offensively, then they're doomed.
Honestly, it's going to probably come down to what maybe Luke Kennard can bring. I don't know.
If they have to depend on Nicholas Batum, the T's gone cold.
The T's gone cold. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. I'm going to try and stay awake for that one. I know it's been rough. I did get that dang second shot of Pfizer, and kind of put me down a little bit yesterday. But hey, guess what? The sun has risen again. But who you got, Johnny? You think without Kawhi, you think Paul George can live his old Indianapolis Pacer ways?
Doc, I'm gonna listen to some Keiko Masui after the show because I'm going with the Jazz.
Ooh, I mean, granted, Donovan Mitchell has been a problem.
Honestly, the only thing that hurt the Jazz is the fact that they're not really distributing the ball all that well. That's really the only problem. Like, Donovan Mitchell's getting buckets, but
I think that's where Mike Conley is missed.
And that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And it shows, but now they don't have to worry about one of the best on-ball defenders in the league.
True. Dang true.
That can easily get him, 20 to 30 points a game.
Yeah. Well, let's look at this. we'll see. I'm hoping that they don't take the Clippers for granted and take them lightly.
Not after what happened Game 4.
Well, no, I'm saying without Kawhi, I'm hoping that they don't take their foot off the gas at all. That's what I'm hoping.
That's what I'm saying. Like
without Kawhi, I mean, I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Be a rough ride. And
speaking of rough ride, I'm glad you said that. That's so great. Rough ride is a great way to segue and describe this particular game.
So normally on the show, we don't really talk about, what a lot of the analysts talk about, but that halftime show on TNT, just watch it, folks. Like, it is absolutely true. The Bucks have to be the dumbest team in the world. And Doc and I kind of talked about this as well. So when we played, I'm not the tallest guy, but Doc knows if I can get the advantage against taller defenders.
Sure.
So if I know I can eat, I'm going to tell Doc, give me the ball.
Sure.
Feed me more.
Sure.
Brook Lopez should be in the block. He is being guarded by 6'7" and 6'8" dudes. This guy is 7 foot tall.
Mm.
And apparently you can teach that.
You can.
Like,
yikes.
This should have been a game that should have gotten out of hand at the end of the first quarter. But they kept them going, and they kept shooting stupid shots and committing stupid fouls. And as Doc liked to say, going up against Giannis, taking the charge.
Taking the charge. Just to confirm, who was playing who?
The Bucks and the Nets.
No. I mean, Brook Lopez was guarded against.
It doesn't.
Who was he guard? You said 6'8". Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just was curious
Griffin
who the defender was.
Freaking Mike James was guarding him at various instances. Yes.
Gotcha. Now I see. I get it. I get what you're saying. Now, Brook isn't the same guy he once was. I mean, but that's still no excuse.
So,
he's not the same guy.
We're talking about if Doc's favorite player, if Jonas Ilgauskas,
wow, I think the show is
Doc
the show
has
is
the
over.
ball. Wait, but I'm right. It doesn't matter that he's the most unathletic big man in the world. Doc knows if there's a guy that's only 6'2" guarding him, Doc is gonna throw him the ball in the freaking block.
We still would be waiting for him to wind up to shoot the ball.
It doesn't even matter. It could be a 3-6 ball Doc here. But you're being guarded by a guard and you decide to drive the ball.
It's just basketball 101, right?
Or take a three,
that's the elbow, thing, though.
Oh my goodness.
See, that's the thing. It's that's why I was
mind.
I guess that's why I was curious, who was guarding who. Was it because Kevin Durant on PJ Tucker, for example. We know PJ Tucker's 6'4", 6'5". They give him 6'6", 6'7", but he's really, really short. He's really 6'4", 6'5". He's actually really short. They just give him the benefit of the doubt.
6'5".
Yeah, he's definitely down there. He's probably really 6'4", but they're giving him the benefit of the doubt. That's okay. And he plays against Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant, one of the best players in the league, doesn't post up every time, and Kevin has him by a good margin, especially with the arm length. But he takes him to his spots. I don't think Brook is as good as he once was, and I get that that's not a valuable excuse.
No,
but
I cannot.
I feel like these players are playing in the systems that their coaches are putting them in. And that's why if the Brooklyn Nets beat the Milwaukee Bucks, Mike Budenholzer will be joining the unemployment line.
I feel like no matter what happens this postseason, Mike Budenholzer should join those other coaches.
It's crazy, but
that's how serious I am about this.
No, I get it.
Are you kidding me?
He should be just feeding Brook, you're saying?
Well, I'm just if you see an advantage, take advantage of it. That's why it's called an advantage.
But is Brook hitting though?
When he was in the block and he did a few shots inside the paint, yeah, he made those.
Oh, then there's no question about it. Then there should just be, just feed him down there. I don't know. I didn't see that particular half because I was out. But
he's like 5 feet away from the rim. All he has to do is turn around and do a little hook shot all day.
Can he do that? Can Brook do that still?
He made the shot that way. That's what I'm like. He could have just done that the whole game.
The whole night. What did they go to? They went to threes, you're saying?
They went to threes and they just did it's just
here we go. Who shot the threes? I'm curious.
Brook shot 5 threes.
Oh, did he now? Oh.
Giannis shot 4 threes, made 2. Chris Middleton was 3 for 10 from 3. Drew Holiday was 3 for 7. PJ Tucker 0 for 2. Pat McConnell 1 for 3, and Brian Forbes is 1 for 1.
Yikes!
They shot 32 threes and only made 13.
And you're sitting there like, just throw it down in the block.
Just throw it in the block. Do something else. Because everyone knows that you want to shoot threes or you want to give it to Giannis so he can drive in the ball.
Gotcha.
But do something. That's what I'm like. Budenholzer needs to go after this season because they're not going to get to that. Even if for some miraculous reason they win the title this season, he still needs to go.
Well, let's look at the other side. I mean, we're spending a lot of time on the Bucks here. Let's talk about the Nets. Kevin Durant, 49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, 48 minutes played. A lot of heat thrown James Harden's way. 45 minutes, 1 from 10, 1 from 10 for the field, and 0 of 8 from three.
That doesn't matter. They won the game. If they lost the game, it would have been a good point, but they won the game.
I'm actually going to give credit to Jeff Green. I don't think people are talking about Jeff Green's performance as much as well. Jeff Green turning back the clock. I think Jeff Green really, I know he's been getting a lot of, bench minutes because he had the really bad injury or really bad condition years ago. So he hasn't ever got back to that starting role. But Jeff Green put in some work in this game. 27 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. He really turned it back. It was almost like watching him and Kevin Durant back in the Supersonic days.
I was just about to say that, actually.
Let's go back. And then Blake, but everybody else kind of was just like kind of watching. Everybody else. They contributed where they could, but Brooklyn gets blown out if James Harden's hot. Brooklyn blows out. Brooklyn blows out the blood. Yeah, they blow him out. Just them winning by a short margin is miraculous.
Yeah,
because the numbers that I see don't even look like they add up to 114 points, but they do. But shout out to KD showing that he can still lead. He's still one of the baddest scorers on the planet, despite what your LeBron-a-maniac might say.
I see what you did there.
But we're going to continue to watch, see what happens. We know you've also heard, just really quickly before we wrap up here, that Chris Paul unfortunately will miss Game 1 once the Western Conference is situated and settled, whether it be the Jazz or Clippers going to meet the Suns. Chris Paul will be out indefinitely for Game 1 due to COVID protocol violation, which at this point, I'm not sure what the protocol is anymore. I feel like people are just doing kind of what they want to do. But we know you heard this on your favorite podcast platform, but if you didn't, you can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends.com. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more analysis, more news, and the reads.